Ripple's Monique Long tells us that companies are becoming more and more interested in public blockchains. We know that XRP is the best thing for businesses to use as a link. Today we're going to talk about that institution's wish. We will also look at some information from the White House study on crypto. We know that BlackRock and Ripple are working together. We are going to talk about the benefits of using XRP and RLUSD together. David Schwartz said that XRP is used as a bridge in Ripple payments, which is much bigger than any other currency. XRP users were also going to look into this. There are many small things about this post that I'd like to look at. Now I think that another big difference between now and 2016 is that big businesses are more willing to use public blockchains. It's like how you and I talked to banks 10 years ago. A lot of people were afraid and didn't want to go on public links. That's not the same anymore. What do you think? What do you believe are the most important skills for groups to have in order to join public blockchains? Okay, I agree. To be fair to the group, I believe the infrastructure wasn't really ready at that time. People who were supposed to learn didn't do it right. It takes a few years and cycles for people to get it. As part of that education, I think Ripple did a great job. Ripple was the first blockchain to really go after the big banks and say, hey, this is 247 value movement. Start to follow the rules. You were really ahead of your time, that much I can say. It's clear though that institutions are now on board. This is likely because the technology has been shown to work well. That's enough, and to be honest, it's better in many ways than what schools can offer. There are a lot of banks that say their systems can't handle the 2047 value changes of stablecoins. They will do the same thing with chain stocks, ETFs, and any other asset you can think of. They need to change how they think about technology and how strong it is right now. The number of schools adopting is pretty high, and the rules are still clear. To be honest, FOMO, fear of missing out, is pretty high. Fear of missing out on things at school or work. That man probably said my best thing. We already know what FOMO is like in little boys. Imagine having access to a huge amount of money, which you could use to buy anything you might desire. It's easy to get. Don't forget that some of these banks and other companies will start to take cryptocurrency as payment at some point. These days you can choose between two banks. They can buy cryptocurrency, hold on to it until it goes up in value, and then sell it to other people. The second choice is more likely to be made though by banks. They are going to work with Coinbase or another big exchange to let you buy and sell currencies right from your bank card. It's going to be really cool. In this case, I also wanted to say that ONO was talked about in the White House report. There is talk about how common financial assets are being turned into tokens on the stack. You also talk about how financial assets are being tokenized, which includes 2047 movement, access around the world, and keeping your own keys. I want to end the link between ONO and Ripple because I believe many people don't fully grasp it. Let's try to understand this better. ONO and Ripple have worked together to add short-term U.S. government treasuries OSG to the XRP ledger. OSG is a tokenized U.S. Treasury service. Institutional buyers who meet the requirements of this deal will be able to mint and redeem OSG directly on the XRP ledger. Ripple's enterprise-grade USD-backed coin, RLUSD, can be used as a middle ground for OUSG actions to make sure there is always money and payments can happen. Here are some of the most important steps and facts about how everything will work. Help with assets. For short-term U.S. bonds, OSG is a digital form that is backed by BlackRock's USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund. Remember that the U.S. bond market is worth $29 trillion all the time. That amount of money is not enough to cover the value of all bonds in the world. You start to think that a lot of this money will soon be added to these networks and blockchains. It is talked about how the blockchain can work with other systems. Blockchains like Ethereum, Polygon, and Solana already have OSG. It is now being added to the XRP system to try to get more businesses to use it. First-time cash. Ripple and other companies have put cash on the XRP ledger to make it easier to trade and get to, but they haven't said how much they put there. Follow-up. The product has strict rules about getting to know your customers and stopping money laundering, which makes it interesting to people who work in institutes. The XRP ledger has built-in compliance tools like DIDs, open identities, and on-chain identity management. Over the RLUSD, OSG can be used, created, and refunded at any time. Banks can avoid slow spots in the banking system and always get access to U.S. Treasury rates with stablecoin. Also, you need to understand that, let's say you're not in the U.S. but in another country and can't buy U.S. government bonds. If the money changes a lot where you are, you might not want to keep all of your money in that currency, right? It's possible for the value to go up and down a lot in a single day. Some of these countries or people in these countries will want to be safe, and the US dollar has always been a safe bet, even though it goes up and down a lot in a day. Right? And so, people or places in these countries will look for safety. The US dollar has always been a safe. I know what you're gonna say, dear teacher. The US dollar keeps getting stronger, but we're losing. I get it, but everyone agrees that the US dollar is better than these other money units. The dollar seems like a better choice today than, say, the Russian ruble or the Chinese yuan. To put it another way, this is what I mean. Because of its growth in partnerships, ONO's total value locked has hit an all-time high. This shows how quickly it is being used in the DeFi area. TVL just passed 1.36 billion, which is a direct result of this combination, making it easier for more people to use. Yesterday, I did want to get right to this. I made a movie with David Schwartz that I put out today. It's about a lot of the things Andre Vick asked him about. This is David Schwartz. For edge use cases and other things, the unstable on and off ramps are a big pain. I think it works better for almost everything else still. Most likely you should keep most of your best digital investments over cash if you're not afraid of taking chances. I also think the XRP ledger will be more important and useful if it is used more for real-world banking. Some say that Ethereum has been hacked, but XRP is less likely to be hacked because it has a unique record. I only wanted to see the facts on which the claims were based, and this is what I found. The number of XRP payments shows that payments make up almost 60% of all activities on the XRP ledger. In just 2 years, the number of weekly payments will grow from about 1.5 million in 2023 to over 8 million in 2025. Keep in mind that this rise did not any rules. And while the SEC was still suing Ripple, which yes is still the case until the SEC drops its appeal. That's why they've grown with this big chain around their neck. If these things that are stopping it from happening are lifted and ETFs are allowed, where do you think we'll all be when this is all over? There were 1.3 million events on the XRP ledger on July